Welcome back to another deep dive. Today, we are opening a file that I think everyone thinks they know.
Oh, absolutely. But it's a case where the legend has almost completely consumed the reality.
Exactly. We're talking about the enigma of D.B. Cooper, but our mission today is a bit different. We're not just rehashing the pop culture version.
Right, no t-shirts, no songs.
We are going to look at the actual FBI case files, the flight logs, the forensic reports, because when you strip away that myth, the story gets a lot more technical.
That's the real irony here.
Yeah.
The public sees this, this romantic heist movie.
A guy in a suit who beats the system.
But investigators, they see a complex puzzle. It's about aerodynamics, metallurgy, a very specific criminal profile.
Less Ocean's 11, more forensic engineering.
Precisely.
So let's go back to the source. November 24th, 1971. It's the day before Thanksgiving. A man walks up to the Northwest Orient Airlines counter in Portland.
Dark suit, black tie, carrying a briefcase. Pretty unassuming.
He buys a one-way ticket to Seattle.
And right off the bat, we have to correct the record.
Yes.
He buys the ticket under the alias Dan Cooper.
Dan Cooper, not D.B. Cooper. That came later, didn't it? A media mix-up.
A huge one. A reporter was rushing, misheard a police source, and the wire services just ran with it.
And it stuck.
It stuck. But the name Dan Cooper itself is interesting. It's from a French comic book about a Canadian test pilot.
Huh. That's a deep cut. So this Dan boards Flight 305. It's a short hop, barely 30 minutes, sits in the back, 18C, orders a bourbon and soda.
And then he hands a note to the flight attendant, Florence Schaffner.
Who just pockets it, right? She thinks he's hitting on her.
She did. It was that era. But Cooper leans in and says, "Miss, you better look at that note. I have a bomb."
And he opens the briefcase. She sees wires, red cylinders.
Whether it was real or not, it was convincing enough. And this is where he shifts from, a potential madman to a real strategist. His demands were incredibly precise.
He asked for $200,000, which today is, over $1 million?
Over $1 million, yeah. And he wanted it in negotiable American currency.
Specifically, $20 bills. Now, why 20s? That seems so specific.
It is. I mean, think about it. If you ask for hundreds, the stack is small, but they're tracked more easily.
And ones or fives would be a huge bag, too heavy?
Exactly. But 10,000 $20 bills, that weighs exactly 21 pounds.
21 pounds. Heavy, but you could manage it.
You could strap it to your body. It shows he'd thought about the logistics of the jump itself, not just the money.
And speaking of the jump, the parachutes, he demanded 4 of them.
This is one of my favorite details. It's just brilliant.
Why 4, though?
Well, think about it from the FBI's perspective. If he asks for one, you might be tempted to give him a dummy chute, right?
Sure, sabotage it. He's the only one taking the risk.
But if he asks for 4, you have to assume he might force a hostage to jump with him. A flight attendant, maybe?
Oh, wow.
So you have to ensure all 4 are perfectly functional. He checkmated them into guaranteeing his own safety.
That's cold, but it's brilliant.
Yeah.
So the plane lands in Seattle. He gets the cash, the chutes, and he lets the passengers go.
But he keeps the flight crew. And this is where the heist turns into this aviation anomaly that has obsessed pilots for decades.
He tells them to take off again, fly towards Mexico City, but with some very strange instructions.
Very strange for a jetliner. He wants the landing gear to stay down.
Okay.
He wants the wing flap set to 15 degrees, and he wants to fly no higher than 10,000 feet.
He's basically forcing this big jet to fly slow and low.
So he's forcing it to fly dirty. That's the aviation term. You create massive drag.
Which slows the plane way, way down.
To about 115 miles per hour, barely above stall speed.
But the perfect speed for a skydiver.
The perfect speed, any faster and the wind blast could kill you, and the altitude 10,000 feet is also critical.
Why is that?
Above that, the cabin is pressurized. You open a door at 30,000 feet, you get explosive decompression.
Right. But at 10,000, the pressure is about equal. You can open a door safely.
It implies a deep, deep knowledge of the specific aircraft he was on. A Boeing 727-100.
Which was basically the only commercial plane that could do this, wasn't it? Because of that staircase in the back.
The ventral air stair, exactly. It's a staircase that lowers from under the tail.
So you don't have to worry about jumping into an engine or a wing.
You drop straight down, clean into the void. It was basically a design feature he weaponized.
A built-in trapdoor.
And because of him, they had to invent a device, they actually call it the Cooper vane, to prevent the stairs from opening in flight ever again.
He literally changed the design of the airplane.
He did.
Okay, so let's get to the jump. It's around 8:40 p.m. The plane is flying through a winter storm. It's pitch black. It's raining.
He sends the flight attendant to the cockpit. He's alone in the cabin.
And then at about 8:43 p.m., the crew feels a pressure bump.
That's the moment. The aft stairs open, and just like that, he's gone.
Stepped off into a freezing storm at night over the rugged terrain of Washington State.
In a trench coat and loafers.
I can't get over the reality of that jump. It's not a sunny day. It's terrifying.
The FBI's initial thought was that he couldn't have survived. An experienced skydiver would never make that jump. You can't see the ground. You could land in a lake, on a tree.
It's borderline suicidal. But he did leave some things behind on the plane, didn't he?
He did. And this is where modern science gives us this huge aha moment decades later.
The tie.
The cheap clip-on tie he left on the seat.
For years, it was just another piece of evidence.
Until a team of citizen scientists got access to it and put it under an electron microscope.
And what did they find in the fibers?
Well, they found a lot of things, but the key thing was particles of unalloyed, pure titanium.
Which in 1971 is not something you just have on your tie.
Not at all. In '71, pure titanium was an incredibly rare strategic metal.
Used in? What?
High-end chemical plants, or much more likely, the aerospace industry.
Like Boeing.
Exactly.
The periodical table of clues, say scientists, suggests Cooper had access to a manufacturing company that made airplanes, like the one he jumped from. Perhaps a company with a connection to Boeing.
Like Boeing, which was working on a supersonic transport project at the time. This suggests Cooper wasn't just some random guy.
He was an insider, an engineer, a manager, someone who walked the factory floor.
It fits perfectly with his knowledge of the 727.
It really does. It points toward a local, someone who punched a clock in Seattle.
Yeah.
So we have a ghost who may have helped build the plane he hijacked, but then the ghost reappears, or at least his money does.
9 years later. 1980. This is the twist that complicates everything.
An 8-year-old boy, Brian Ingram, is on a camping trip along the Columbia River.
He's digging in the sand at a place called Tina Bar, and he finds these 3 rotting bundles of cash.
And the serial numbers match.
First break in the only unsolved airplane hijacking in United States history came on a Columbia River beach. 8-year-old boy dug up the shreds of $3,000 on Sunday.
A perfect match. $5,800 of the original ransom money.
So how did it get there? The spot was miles from the projected drop zone.
That is the big debate. One theory is the washdown theory. Cooper died on impact, the money bag eventually rotted away, and these bundles just washed downriver over 9 years.
But didn't the rubber bands holding the cash together complicate that?
They did. Rubber bands would have disintegrated after 9 years in the elements. The fact they were still there suggests the money was buried or stuck in mud for a long time before being unearthed.
Maybe by a dredging operation that happened nearby.
There's one possibility. The other is that he survived.
That he landed and buried some of the money right there.
If so, it proves he lived. But it just opens up more questions. Why bury only a small fraction? Did he lose the rest?
It brings us right back to the central question. Did he survive? The FBI initially said no, but that changed.
It changed because of the copycats. In the years after Cooper, other people tried the exact same thing. Hijacked a 727, jumped out the back.
And they lived.
Most of them did, which proved the jump itself was survivable. The most famous was Richard McCoy.
Okay, let's talk about McCoy. For a lot of people, he's the #1 suspect.
He was a Green Beret, a skydiver. 5 months after Cooper, he pulled off an almost identical heist. Jumped out of a plane over Utah with $500,000.
He had the skills, he had the nerve. So why isn't he D.B. Cooper?
The physical evidence, it just didn't line up. The flight attendants described Cooper with a darker complexion, maybe Latin or Native American.
And McCoy didn't look like that.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And he had a solid alibi for Thanksgiving 1971. He was at home with his family.
Hard to be hiking out of the Washington wilderness if you're eating turkey in Utah.
Exactly. But there's another suspect who fits that insider profile. Robert Rackstraw.
Rackstraw. He was a Vietnam vet, right? Special ops.
Helicopter pilot, trained in parachuting, explosives, survival. He had the exact skill set.
And he had let's say, a volatile personality.
Brilliant but volatile. He'd been kicked out of the military. And he bore a striking resemblance to the composite sketch.
And he never really denied it, did he?
He played coy. He seemed to enjoy the suspicion. But, again, we hit a wall.
The forensic wall.
Right. The FBI has a partial DNA profile from the tie. They have 66 fingerprints from the plane. They compared rack straw.
Not a match.
Not a match. And this is what drives me crazy about this case. We have 66 fingerprints. We have DNA. We have a list of over 800 suspects investigated. And nothing.
It is statistically baffling. A man his age in 1971 likely would have served in the military. His prints should be in a database. Or fingerprinted for a security clearance to work at a place like Boeing.
Right. How does a man with this set of skills exist completely outside the system?
It's like he was a ghost.
Which leads to the ghost in the machine theory. Either he was the most average, law-abiding citizen imaginable right up until that day.
Which seems unlikely given the skills required.
Or the evidence we have is contaminated. Maybe the tie wasn't his. Maybe he bought it at a thrift store and the titanium came from the previous owner.
Wow, I never considered that. The prints could be from a previous passenger.
It's possible. If that's the case, the entire profile we've built is based on a phantom.
The FBI officially closed the active investigation in 2016.
They did, but it remains this open wound. I think the reason we can't let it go is that there's no ending. He just jumped into the night and took the answer with him.
There is something compelling about that, the idea that someone could actually just vanish.
It's the ultimate escape act.
So here's the final thought I want to leave you with. Let's assume he survived. He had to go back to his life, his job, his family. He had to live for maybe 50 years, watching the news, seeing those sketches, knowing the FBI was hunting for him.
Living the rest of his life in total silence.
Could you do that? Could you sit on the biggest secret in American history and never tell a single soul?
Yeah.
Not even on your deathbed.
That might be the most incredible part of the whole thing. Not the jump, the silence.
That's it for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.
Stay curious.